Hey you, welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
I'm wife.
And together we're reading the Bible.
Starting with Genesis and eventually ending with Revelations, we're working through every book and offering our atheist 2 cents.
Or shekels.
Yeah, those. We're asking questions and pointing out all the nonsense.
We aren't academics or scholars.
Nope. In fact, when it comes to religion, we really don't know anything at all.
What we've learned so far is that God's a dick.
Oh, he really is, isn't he? If you're interested in how we reached this startling conclusion, maybe start from episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in anywhere. It's all good.
Yep.
Hey wife, we just got a new sponsor. It's Anchor. They must think we're doing something right because they picked us back up.
That's amazing. Want to hear something even more amazing?
Yeah?
I actually know what they are.
You are full of shit. I'm calling your bluff. Tell me about Anchor.
Okay, so Anchor by Spotify is the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place.
I'm actually surprised you knew that, but did you also know that Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer?
Yes, because I see you do that on your phone all the time and it looks pretty simple.
It really is, and when hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
But I use CastBox.
Yeah, darling, I know you like CastBox. It gets distributed there too, and lots of other platforms as well.
And how much are we paying for this awesome service?
Absolutely nothing.
Coolio! So then we should tell people to download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started?
Yep, do it now.
Hey, it is Q&A Tuesday.
Hi, wife.
I know. Hi. What?
Husband.
Husband. Hi.
You broke up like the whole beginning.
I do. Husband on the regular ones. I don't do that on the Q&A
you don't?
ones. No.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I'm going to go back and listen to some because I think you're wrong.
Sometimes I might be like, hey, husband, but I never just go, husband.
Okay. Well, whatever.
And then
we are.
I go, it's Tuesday, Q&A.
It is. Yeah. It is Tuesday, Q&A.
I know.
Yep.
So
what are we doing?
Well, we are doing a Q&A over Numbers, chapters 14 and 15.
Okay.
And the topic I would like to discuss, have you heard of the term vertical retribution?
I have not heard of the term vertical retribution.
I'm going to tell you about it and opine, and you may speak up on the subject.
I'm looking forward to it. Let's go do that.
Okay.
Hey, wife.
Yes, husband.
Did you know that we are now on Patreon?
Yes, because you told me, but also, no, tell me more.
So we're on Patreon now.
Are we?
We are, and our supporters can go there and support us, and we have multiple levels all the way up to You Killed God.
That sounds really drastic and escalated quickly-ish.
Well, no, there's multiple levels before there, so it escalates on a sliding scale of, cheap to not cheap. Oh. But, we can definitely use any amount, so, any support is always appreciated.
So, what exactly is Patreon?
It's a place where you can show your support for our podcast. And
just our podcast?
Any podcast or any performer. But, we're the ones that, you're listening to right now. So maybe you should, support us. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. But we love you anyway.
So all you got to do is go to Patreon, look up Sacrilegious Discourse. It's actually patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse is our actual main page there. So head on over and send us some love.
Yeah. Okay, so vertical retribution. First of all, do you remember what happened in... Oh my God, the look on your face.
I'm thinking.
In Numbers chapter 14.
In Numbers chapter 14, is this the one where we just talking about Miriam and... Or was that the time before? That was the time before. Shit.
Yeah.
Man, I'm losing it.
You're losing it.
Well, I mean, I never had it, but I mean...
No.
Anyway,
okay.
No, I don't.
So, okay, I'm not talking about chapter 15, just 14.
Okay, just 14.
Yeah. So in chapter 14, just prior to that, remember they had sent 10 spies?
Yes.
Or 12 spies, I'm sorry.
Right.
And
two of them were good, and the other 10
were liar faces.
Yeah.
Evil spies.
I mean,
poopy pantses.
Right. I didn't want to die at the hands of giants, but, apparently the other two did.
Well, here's the thing. Like, it's raining and stormy, so the thunder is shaking our house.
Like, just as we said that, it thundered really loud, and we're like, oh, God wants us to fight giants.
No, I'm not fighting no giant. Okay. Here's the thing, though. God had already told that, according to the Bible, okay? Yeah. Not according to me, because I don't give a shit.
Right.
Okay, but in the Bible, God had already told these people, okay, you guys can go in, and it's going to be good. It's going to be fine. Just trust me.
Wait, God did tell him that?
Yeah. Prior to all of this, right?
Okay.
And then the people were like, or Moses was like, oh, you know what? Let us send in some spies ahead.
Wait. Hold on, though. But if Moses didn't just trust God off the bat?
And that's where I'm going with this.
That's bullshit.
I know. This is where I'm going with this.
Right, but like 10 people died because of this fucking scouting mission.
Stop. It's not just him.
I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Can I finish?
Yes.
Okay. So Moses didn't trust in the Lord, okay? Who had already said, it's going to be fine. Just trust me. And so Moses was like, so let's send in some spies. And the people, each tribe chose a spy and were like, yeah, we are all on board with this. So the entire group of Israelites did not put their faith in God. Okay. So that was their first. Including Moses. So they were all fucked up right there. Okay.
Right.
So then each tribe chose a spy to send in, right? And so then when these guys got there where they were told it's going to be fucking fine because God got this.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they got there and they saw giants, they were like, fuck this, I'm out.
Right.
10 of them, right?
I kind of would be too. Like, you see some giants, you say, okay, I'm
out.
I'm going the other way.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, okay, I read several different, like, rabbi notes on this, which was, like, really interesting because apparently there's a point later during which Joshua, he was one of the good ones. Joshua and Caleb were the good guys.
Got it.
The good spies.
Was Joshua the son of Nun?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. So he mentions later that the spiritual protection had been lifted or something like that. Like it equates to how some rabbis of the Jewish tradition interpret the Hebrew is to mean that either an angel of the Lord, God himself, or some other god of those people were protecting those people, but that the spiritual protection was lifted.
Wait, when was the spiritual protection lifted and why?
That's not
specified.
No, that's not specified. But when God told the Israelites, "I got this, you're fine," He was telling them the spiritual protection that it was there is lifted, so you guys can do this.
Okay.
And they didn't trust in Him, and so. When the spies went in, they were like, oh, fuck me, there's giants.
Yeah.
And then they came back and were like, dudes, we can't do this.
Right.
God lied.
Yeah.
It's off.
I mean, again,
Joshua.
If I saw giants, I'd not do it.
Right. No, I totally agree. But Joshua and Caleb were like, well, first it was Caleb was just like, come on, you guys. It's, God said we got this, so we got this.
Right.
Like I don't know how. I have faith in God and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And Joshua was like quiet or whatever. Or
right.
wait.
Because, no, it was just one of them that spoke up right at
first. I think it was Joshua that spoke up and then Caleb.
In the next chapter, he stood with them.
Yeah.
And that was.
And he let all of the elders speak and like raise their fists. And then he was like, guys, I don't think you understand. And he was like all calm and like whatever. And then the people were like, no, fuck you. We're going to stone you. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So there were like all of these multiple not trusting in the Lord's, right? Which started, like we thought it just started when they were like, no, the 10 spies lied And we thought that was the beginning of it. But the beginning of it actually was sending spies in the first place.
Got it.
Okay? So, anyway, so all of that happened. And then God came down and was like, okay, excuse me, what the fuck? And, like, as soon as that happened, then Moses...
Why did he wait until they came back to say, excuse me, what the fuck? Why didn't he say it as they were leaving and already breaking...
He was giving them rope to hang themselves with.
But why does he do that?
Because that's the whole point. Like, the whole point of them going through all of these trials and tribulations was that he was teaching them to be chosen people. Like, he had already taken them out of Egypt. He had already gotten them organized and said, this is how I want y'all to organize yourselves. Like, he had already done all of this stuff and trained them, put them through the fire and all this. They were supposed to be, by now they were supposed to be in faith of him.
Okay. But my beef with this is that he gives detailed instructions on what the fuck you're supposed to burn for him.
Right.
And what you're supposed to build for him. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to what you're supposed to do for him, he's vague as fuck.
Well, no. He said, we're going to go in tomorrow and we're going to do this and I got it. Just trust in me. You'll see.
Okay.
So...
But generally speaking, he is vague as fuck.
Sometimes he's vague as fuck, yeah. But when he gives, like, a direct order, at this point in the game, the people were supposed to be good followers because they have already been, like, honed, like a fine weapon or whatever, right?
They've already been killed multiple times because they didn't fucking listen.
But that's part of it. Like, why aren't they fucking listening by now? Don't they know that if they don't listen, they're going to die, right?
Right.
Like,
I mean, that's the question I keep asking. I'm
right.
Like, how real was this shit? Because they keep dying at the hands of fucking God, and then they're like, wait, I don't believe in God exactly. So, again.
So, but that's like me and you keep going back and forth as we're reading this. Like, God, these people are dumb, and then we're like, oh, God's an asshole. I wouldn't believe him either. Like, we keep going back and forth because, to me, I think to you as well, both sides are dumb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, the people are stupid, God's a dick. Like, both of those are indisputable.
Definitely.
So, when the people were about to stone Joshua and Caleb for speaking up, and Moses and Aaron were on the ground going, oh, nuh-uh, this is not going to go well.
Right.
So, they were already like, let us just hope that, we don't get hit in the backlash. Like, when that lightning strike comes down, we're just over here.
Right.
So, when God does come down, he's like, okay, I hate you all. I'm going to kill you all. And Moses, I'm going to start over with you. And then Moses is like, but wait, though. And so then Moses is like, if you kill all of them, then it's going to look like you couldn't do it.
Right.
So he tries to side talk. Like, he manipulates God into not killing the people.
I guess it just this whole thing, like, I get that because that was part of the chapter, right?
Right.
And but as we were reading that and going through that, I felt like this just cheapens God so much.
It does, right? Because he's like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want the people to think that I couldn't do it. So, yeah, you're right. I will let them live.
Well, and moreover, some fucking mortal is sitting here telling you, hey, dude, you kind of sucked there, so...
Can we not?
Let's not.
So, okay, here's where we get into vertical retribution.
Okay.
And apparently this was a thing even before Bible days. Like, in people way before Bible days.
Sure.
Okay? What happened was when... Moses interceded on the people's behalf, which really he was pretending that he was helping God save face, but really what he was doing was trying to
save people,
save the entire fucking race.
Even though sometimes he killed them,
right?
Because whatever.
Yeah, it just depends on the day.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I want to be in charge of killing them, not you. So, what happened was God's like, no, they have to take the punishment. So then Moses was like, couldn't you maybe do that thing where you pass the punishment down to future generations instead of making them bear it?
Is this layaway punishment?
It is. It's also been referred to as kicking the can down the road punishment. And yeah, so like people are born with this weight of sin already on them that they know nothing about. But as long as you like toe the line and do all the good things and be an obedient steward of God, etc., etc., you can beg to have your father's punishment kicked down to your child.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yay.
And just
it's almost worth it to just be a fucking sinful shithead because
so that you don't pass the punishment down, right?
Except for then it probably kicks it down 2 more generations.
Right, exactly. But that's what vertical retribution is kicking the can down the road to future generations, hoping that it never catches up because at least you won't be around to see it. It's so shitty.
That's a way to make people guilty before they ever have guilt.
Well,
that's a way to make them feel like there's shame. That feel shame upon learning that they should have shame.
With the psychology that we have now, yes, that is true. The original intent was to build strong clan bonds because you understood that if you stepped out of line, it's not just you that's getting punished, it's your children and your children's children. And it makes you try that much harder to do right and good. I'm not talking about just the Christian faith, and I'm not just talking about this particular piece of shit God.
Right.
I'm talking about before that, in earlier times when, surviving as a clan or tribe was essential. These people had to have a reason to, societal bond wasn't strong enough.
Got it.
They had to have a reason to keep their shit straight. And it was the fear of their children bearing the guilt of their sins kept them. So
their fear kept them in line as well as teaching their children to stay in line so that they also did not end up bearing this weight.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, it served a purpose early on before, we had books, newspapers, and the internet to tell other people how to behave. It was very dependent on these extremely small families.
This kind of goes in line with the way we've always thought that the Bible, we know this. The Bible is, and religion is, a law before laws.
Right, exactly.
It was a way to
get society to behave.
Yeah, and that's really essentially what it all boils down to, I think.
Right. I found this one particularly interesting because the way we looked at it as reading it was like, that's not fair. And we're totally right. From today's perspective, I think it's completely unfair that our child would have to suffer for anything that we did wrong. That's not fair. But our child has the movement, what's that called? The personhood?
I don't know.
I know. There's a word that I'm trying to think of, and I'll think of it 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. But our children have the ability to stand up for their own selves.
Right.
And this was not the case necessarily in those very, very early days when society was such a loose thing and people depended on each other for life. You depended on your neighbor to not rape your daughters and to bring you water or whatever.
Right.
So you had
Whereas now you can move out and make your way in California or whatever.
Yeah. You can go anywhere. And if somebody is a shit, you can either punch them or go to jail or take them to court. Or you have any number of recourse that is not going to make you homeless the next day, hypothetically.
Right.
We all know also that is not necessarily true. But it's not going to be because of what your parents did.
Right.
You have choices. These people did not.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
Was that it for that chapter or what?
That was really all. I was just reading a lot about it because I just found it really interesting from a history and psychology perspective that it changed my way of looking at this.
Got it.
Because I just hate it,
Did we have any information about 15 or just fuck 15?
Fuck 15.
Okay.
I never got there. Honestly, I never got there.
Well,
it was the vertical retribution thing was so interesting because you know me, I love something that teaches me a new perspective. I love something that makes me expand beyond my own firm grasp of what I know of something,
Sure.
and be like, whoa, okay, this turned what I knew on its head, or what I thought on its head. And I got so fascinated. I was just reading all about that.
Well, and I'll admit, I've had a big weekend at work, and I've done nothing to prepare for this at all, so it was all on you. So
I know.
Thank you for preparing.
Aw.
Thank you for having something.
Well, I'm sorry I waited till the last minute, but today was my mom's last day of radiation treatment for breast cancer, so that happened.
Yep. No.
And that was exciting.
We had things going on, but
Yep.
we had some information too, so
Yeah.
hopefully you guys enjoyed that.
Yeah, I hope that you found Vertical Retribution enlightening.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something funny to say there, but I couldn't come up with anything, so.
I mean, it still sucks.
Well, yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
That's what I was going to say earlier. We were talking about the vertical retribution, and it somewhat feels like the way God punishes people feels a little bit like the way, when the teacher punishes the whole class,
right,
for something they did wrong.
Yeah, and then that one kid was in the back not doing anything, and they were just reading, but they have to write the sentences too.
So I get that it holds society together, but at the same time, it's
lazy.
It's complete bullshit.
It's lazy.
Yeah,
and it makes,
especially if you're an all-knowing, all-powerful God.
Yeah,
you know who fucking wronged you.
Yeah.
So why are you punishing all the generations in that's bullshit.
Well, and then it gets into the whole Jesus thing is supposedly the buck stops here. You're kicking the can down the road, and then Jesus picks the can up and says, "We're not passing down punishments anymore. I'm taking them all." But then it's so we just don't. Everybody just gets to be rapey, and there's no punishment now, huh?
Right.
As long as they
kind of defeats the whole purpose of the laws they were trying to implement, right?
Right. So, I don't know. I think it did kind of serve a purpose now that it did serve a societal purpose that we are now lacking, even though I would not want my child to have to pay the price for anything I did. I now understand that there
were reasons for it
that actually made sense.
In those times
that I actually approve of, even.
Somewhat.
For those times. Right.
All right. Well, cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we're going to call this then?
We're going to call it.
All right. Let's call it then.
Go!
So that ends this week's Q&A.
If you have questions, answers, or comments, please email them to us by next Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, to be included in next Tuesday's Q&A episode.
Awesome. See ya.
Bye.